Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Rebirth, a D&D tale, brought to you by CoffeeCat Presents. I am the guest DM tonight, Macabre Derek. We have been following the party as they have been struggling through a crash landing, a dead zone that has brought their airship to a stop, to ruins, to ground on a small island out in the middle of the ocean, with many of the crew injured, many of them left in critical care. They managed to end up finding a shelter amongst a strange group of individuals. A priestess, a blacksmith, and his small apprentice have ended up being on this island for quite some time, seeming caretakers to a shrine up in the mountain that stands tall in the center of this island. It is there we end up finding ourselves as they've delved into the temple, uncovering its secrets. Temple proving to be a grand mechanism of some kind, handcrafted by human hands, inspired by divine vision. A blockade between this world and another that pulls into it. And yet, some doubts have creeped within the minds of our wonderful adventurers. They end up holding a component that needs to be replaced. Supposedly, the piece that they need to find is behind a painting in a hallway filled with them. There, we'll end up seeing on what transpires as they start to end up delving into the secrets of this Temple of Tyr. And a great decision that they must make. Thus, the game begins. Having gone several floors low, you all find yourselves standing amongst the ruined, shattered remains of tempered clay constructs. Angelic figures with beautiful faces now cracked and pounded into dust. Warhammers of clay having been shattered, scattered at your feet. The room itself, once a trove of these creations, now reduced to dust by your hand. Yet still, as you end up standing amongst your vanquished foes, you can still feel it. Steady, silent rumbling beneath your feet, ever soft. Emotion. You know that you're getting deeper, closer to where you need to be. You can end up feeling the vibrations through the floor. A mechanical, rhythmic moving. You've seen the pipes and creations, the things that end up constructing under the temple. Those who worshipped here would have been above, but here, down here, is something secret, something hidden. These clay creatures seeming to have been built to not only defend the temple itself, but become agents of Tyr's church to protect its followers. Perhaps crafted a little bit too late for the numbers needed. Desperate measures were taken. And now, the mind wonders what really happened down here. What caused this island to be a dead zone for the magic that runs rampant throughout the entirety of your world. But I suppose there's only one way to find out. And thus the scene begins.
Well, shall we be pressing forward then?
I think that's about the only thing we can do.
Still searching for those paintings, right?
Mm-hmm. At this point, Vanya's already rushed over to Zephyr, happy she's able to summon him in here. Doesn't feel right not fighting with him.
Zephyr, for as ragged as he may be, tries to end up expressing love that you end up putting upon him. Though I imagine in his new form, trying to do so is a little awkward. Robe, you had something to say.
You're right, it just doesn't feel the same without him around.
And look, now he does cold damage, apparently. This is going to take some time to get used to.
Interesting.
What is he? Exactly.
He is Zephyr.
He is Zephyr. He was originally my wolf companion. Well, wolf mix. After the whole Rebirth thing, I'm not sure what he is. He's got some draconic features, but I don't know. And it's different than what it was. Before he was just always with me, now I can summon him.
I think he picked up some new features, just like me, and Kroby's kind of going to rub his head where the scales and stuff are.
It could be things. Definitely feels things changed a little bit. Maybe not on the outside, but.
Well, he's certainly still a good boy, isn't he, Zephyr? Aren't you a good boy? I'm gonna scruffle his fur.
Oh,
dude,
Zephyr's all about that.
As he half tackles you, probably.
No! Wait! I can't hold you, wait!
Arya's definitely mama number 2.
As we're going to move further in, Kroby's just going to kind of walk by and, like, scratch and, like, slap his side a couple times. It's good to see you, boy. And he's going to take up and start looking to go around.
I am going to look at the strange figures that we just took down, the effigies, I think is a good way to put it. What are these things, really? Or at least what are the remains of?
And Amber's going to come over and start to kind of analyze what they're made of and find out and it just clay, it looks like.
Roll me a quick investigation check.
God, is your investigation better than mine? Because I would prefer you roll it if it's better than mine.
Let's find out.
I have a flat 0 on it because
Well,
I am only 10
investigation
intelligence.
is -1. However, if I'd be able to use stone cunning, I'd get advantage.
No, it wouldn't end up qualifying in this regard because
Boo.
stone cutting ends up working primarily on structures and what have you. This is
Okay.
a different art form entirely.
Okay.
It
Well,
wouldn't have anything to do with dwarven culture at the very least, far less.
It's only clearly the smart one in the group.
All right, don't worry.
I'll
Since no
grant
one else
assist.
wants to. Okay.
No, I
I
got
was
it. I
Bardic
about-
got it.
Inspiration as well.
Oh my god, that's great. Okay, that's a D6? D8.
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 The
Okay.
only
This is
reason
great.
why I wasn't volunteering to do it is because Vanya was not actually over there doing it.
Grants.
What do we
Okay,
got?
so 19 was the initial roll. Bardic Inspiration gave me
Nice.
+3 to that.
Nice.
But it's flat 19 because I'm not
Oh, it's
smart.
okay. Oh, don't underestimate yourself on occasion. Maybe motions of brilliance will end up taking hold.
It's true.
Let me ask a real quick question, Arya. You yourself are a caster. What would you say would be your specialty when it comes to magic? How do you perceive the world of magic?
How do I understand magic? Magic is a spontaneous living thing. I don't necessarily understand a structure or science to it, definitely not as Rune did, which is probably the only thing that I am a little bit remiss about, that I wasn't able to pick up on that as he understood it. But what I do know of it is that it tends to be very emotionally driven for me.
Okay.
And
That's good.
Okay.
It allows me. This gives me a little bit of context because I'm going to flavor this in the context of how you would understand it. Okay. You look at the remains in the clay, but it's not enough to end up seeing the remains of the clay. When you look upon it, you see that each of these, the clay itself is giving physical form to magic. The magic itself, though, is not the same that you end up using. This is, while you are correct and emotionally charged, the kind of charge you would get is one of desperation, two of hope, and third seems to be more of a divine origin. What you can kind of ascertain is that these were crafted not only in ritual but of prayer. When you end up staring at them, you look at the pieces and you see that what would normally be a mess of chaos that you're very much attuned with has been forced into form, forced into function. This magic has been using that more chaotic vibe you would get, for lack of a better term, and put into structure. And as you know, magic doesn't like being just constrained. That's where it gets its power. It's fight against the material realm. It tries to be the exception to the rule, to conjure, to craft something out of nothing, to be the exception to what most encounter. That's that feeling channeled into a form, trapping it. Its own rebellion against what it is what gives these things life. These are
Like it's-
a facsimile of life. Their form, their function, but very much brought in from a different sort. I'll
It's-
allow you. Oh, go ahead.
the way I'm reading this, is that their design and the intent behind their design very much is almost mirroring their creators. If I'm understanding this situation correctly, the people who were trapped here, well, there were people who were trapped here in desperation and in need. And they created something in order to protect them, but that same thing that they designed to protect them is as desperate and chaotic and trapped as them. This is like an art piece, an embodiment of a moment. Of what these people faced. And given life. All of that is what I'm saying out loud.
Mm.
It's been a few weeks. Me as a player, have we already hypothesized golems?
You have hypothesized.
I will continue to hypothesize golems.
By all means.
It is still like golems, but just different? Where a golem is like a lot of the golems that we have seen are more like manifestations of an element itself. This is a manifestation of a feeling. And bottled. Does that make sense?
It does, actually.
I mean, you mean like, kind of like if you see across cultures, people kind of taking the same ingredients and cooking them different ways, but still kind of the same essence behind it?
Kind of. I would... more like similar ingredients, different dish.
Okay.
I think that's essentially what you just said, isn't it? Same ingredients, different dish.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's... My beloved here just simplified what Kurobe wanted to simplify.
I was just trying to understand this. I don't really get the magic thing. I never have.
Neither
The
have
stuff
I.
that you all do, Amaranth, it seems like bullshit that's not even possible, but I see you guys do it on a daily basis, so...
You've been on the receiving end of it a few times, too.
I know, I missed that armor. It was really nice. I had that for years.
I told you not to bring it with you.
It seemed like a good
Anyway.
idea at the time.
So, these are made with feeling behind them, then.
And some form of divinity, in a way.
Well,
A
we
prayer.
Do you think that that's the power, or is that what kind of just gets them like how they act is what the feeling they put in?
I think it is a spark. It is not necessarily the power itself, but like a piece of the ingredient, a catalyst, the thing that triggers that, in a way.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean, none of us here are wizards, right? You can boil down the science of it all.
No, I used to know one.
Well,
we used to know one, but...
in that particular case, then...
Oh! If that's the case, wait! Wait, can you cast message? Have we tried that? Have we tried to... Is Cypher available? Can you ring him?
I can certainly try, but while we're in here, magic is one thing. I'm thinking that anything we do in here won't necessarily translate to out there. But
We still have a lot more to explore. We might want to save our resources till we're sure that it's safe enough that we can...
well, the best part about this, Kirby, is I'm not using magic for it. It's just kind of a prayer-ish. It's
Okay.
hard to explain. I don't have to put anything in. He just hears. Cypher, if you're able to hear this, we have questions that need answering. She has no
So
hope
you're-
that it's actually going to be able to hear, that he's able to hear it, but it's worth a shot.
High or low?
Hi.
I was about to say, after Thursday, I'm not calling it.
So you send this message out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but message allows the sender to return, right? Like
The-
it want a short message.
So, as the person who does connect Vanya and in Cypher in the game, she doesn't actually have to cast a spell of any kind to reach him. Like she said, it's just a prayer, and he hears and responds.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it kind of opens up a two-way communication between the two. It's, from my understanding, it is mostly based on his weird kind of new magic he's got.
Mm.
From a
It is a
DM's
new
perspective,
Let me, Coffee. Give me an understanding a little bit, as much as you're willing to reveal
mhm.
of what it is, because I think I got something in play here.
So think of it kind of like a warlock pact, in that he has, his pact was with Rune, but then it also transferred to Vanya when Rune asked him to protect her.
Okay.
So however you want that to pierce through, that is on you.
If it does.
If it does.
Like I said, she's got no expectation it will, knowing that there is an anti-magic thing going on outside the temple.
I know, but I'd like to reward experimentation, even if it's not the answer you were hoping for. So, you reach out, trying to contact Cypher. When you do, you can hear it. You can hear this murmuring. Voices. Not Cyphers. You can hear them struggling, fighting against something. You can hear them pleading to be released. In words that aren't words, a dance of emotion. Something beyond the realms of man. Roll me a quick religion check.
Okay.
Actually, nature would probably be more accurate.
And nature's a better roll for me, thank you. Religion's still pretty decent, but...
It's always good to be knowledgeable.
Oh yeah. 24.
You can feel it. And as you listen, you know it. Something about the tone, something about the words aren't words. But you know it. Or at least you know of it. The language of the Fae. The Fae that are trapped in this world. You've seen evidence of them all about. Dryads frozen in trees, unable to move. Those rings of mushrooms that would be gates to the realm of the Fae. Things that are caught in the world between, as though trapped in a single moment. And in that moment, screaming to be released. Some just want to go home, others demand vengeance. See the unseelie, it doesn't make a difference at this moment anymore. There are a cacophony of voices, all trapped. You remember the Pilgrim's Path. And maybe, just maybe, a vision of some form of giant eye staring at you from the mud.
Oh, that's... The second the voices start to pick up, Vanya is covering her ears and trying to physically move away from the sound, even though there's not a direction it's coming from. That's... Oh, that's so much worse. So,
What's wrong?
bad thing, can't get a hold of Cypher, but I could hear the Fae.
The
The
Fae.
ones trapped here. The trees. The dryads trapped in the trees. There's so many.
And if we get rid of the magic or non-magic that traps them here, what happens then?
I don't know. There's some of them just want free to go home. Some of them want vengeance, which I suppose would be natural given how they're trapped. But what would actually happen? I can't even begin to guess. There's just so many voices. Just like Arya said, it's still more feeling than any words.
I suppose it's a good thing we're repairing a device.
Well, it looks like they might have been the aggressors just because they're going after the temple. I don't know what the situation was, but
That had to have been eons ago, wouldn't it?
Yeah, some of them were pleading to be let out. They've been here for so long that they want to go home.
Legends
What
of
a
the
nightmare.
Faceless say that they're tricksters.
What a nightmare it must be for the timeless to be exposed to the concept of time, as mortals understand it.
I don't think this is them trying to trick us. We've seen some of them trapped physically here. The dryads are a good example. Can you imagine what it must be like to be stuck like that? And she's kind of going to look over at Arya, like, you yourself were trapped for who knows how long before we were able to wake you.
Well, yes, but how I understood that and experienced it was not necessarily trapped. It was more like dreaming. Like I had taken a nap. A period between when I was sealed and when I awoke. I didn't understand the point of time behind it. It was just
You weren't aware.
precisely.
It sounds like these guys have been, though.
I think we need to have more of a conversation with our friends back at the camp.
Assuming they know anything.
I'd rather find out if they do or don't.
They've seemed pretty one-track minded of getting us up here.
Yeah.
To either repair the device that keeps the Fae at bay, or for some other reason that we're not privy to. Otherwise, they're just people. Maybe he's trapped here themselves for a very different way.
Could be.
And this is essentially a sailor's graveyard. Number of ships that crashed.
There's so much more to this. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, we don't exactly have an analyst amongst us, so I think the best thing for us to do, as Lagon had brought up before, is that we repair the device that's here, whatever that means, because we're replacing something, and then we go back down the hill and I don't know how well that confronting Spike and Brood would be doing, but the other woman, Shael,
She certainly seems to know more than she lets on.
I would have to agree.
she's the cleric.
I honestly think the blacksmith might know a little bit more too. After all, he's the one who makes the parts to repair this, isn't he?
How much of that is just him giving schematics? And him not questioning a thing?
Something we'd have to find out.
Well, we're here, so we might as well get done what we've been told to get done.
Yeah, if it turns out that we shouldn't have done it, we can always come back up here and undo it.
Yeah, I think we did talk about that previously. So,
I've always been good at breaking things.
you kind of look like a big man who would.
He's particularly good at breaking his own face.
Doors, walls.
Very well.
That one hatch that you guys were surprised I got through.
Captain, should we,
He
He is. I think you and I should go ahead of the group. We did sneak up on the village after all, so we should be good to go in that case.
If you get in trouble, just yell and I'll come running.
Lead the way, Alphys.
First, I'm going to make you even sneakier and pass without trace.
Oh.
let the rogue be rogue. And she will continue going down the hall, checking for traps along the way.
And I'll be right there
Yeah.
assisting her.
As you go into the hallway, you end up seeing the hallway here go down south and loop back around towards the west, closer to the area you've already come from. But you also see a door in the middle of the hallway heading out east. A single door that looks to end up being of average quality. Put together long before, or unlike the repairs you've seen, where it's clear that they're made from ship parts, this is something that might have been built from the original temple, but simply moved and replaced. It's ill-fitting for the frame that it's involved in. You can see part of the top has been chopped off and repurposed. And when you approach the door, by all means, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Bring up her sheet. Da, 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 da. 32.
Ooh.
Looks clear. Seems
19. Gonna go ahead and see if it's locked.
It seems unlocked.
Vanya's gonna take a breath, push open the door, and step in.
And the captain's gonna follow her.
When you step in, you see a little bit of a hallway. You see a little bit of space, not much, probably 10 feet wide at the earliest, and then tapering. One side going north, the other one going south. To the south, you can end up seeing a stairwell that ends up going down. Or north, a quick bend. What you also end up seeing is corpses. Corpses dressed in fine garb that is rotted away. Many of the bodies have been pushed aside towards the north, clearing a path to the southern steps. They seem to be carrying jars of what appears to be fine ash. Many of them seem to end up have just fallen. You don't see any signs of struggle, just them being piled up here. Many of them reduced to bone. How long have they been here? In their skeletal forms?
Well, that's certainly concerning. Well, we can go to the north, or we can go down the stairs. That is up to you. What do you think, Captain?
Well, aren't we supposed to go further down? We haven't found that painting that we're looking for yet. We're told it's beneath the temple somewhere.
Yeah? Logic would say down's the way.
I'm also going to test the floor just to see if there's any of those similar kinds of traps and pitfalls that we had encountered.
Okay. No, that is definitely a test. I would like for you to make me a perception roll.
Perception.
I would like to assist in that. Unless Coffee wants me to lead it, but...
Well... My perception is a +2, but I'll take advantage.
Yeah, that +13 kind of hits hard.
That's a 19 on the dice. That's a 17 on the dice. So the 19 + 2 is 21.
You can definitely see that if there was any kind of fulcrum point, much like you encountered earlier, it would either be locked down by the corpses that you end up seeing or cleared off. The path seems to be well trodden, going directly south. The bodies seem to pile up thicker and thicker in the corridor going north.
So yeah, going north just seems to be a place to get rid of bodies, and where
It seems like the path is... Yep. The path has been cleared for it.
I am curious, though, why so many corpses?
That's what concerns me.
How fresh do they look, Derek?
They're damn near skeletal.
Okay.
Some of them have a little bit of flesh that has been withered to tight leather, just to the elements, but this had to happen long ago.
Is there a possibility of seeing how some of them may have died?
There's always a possibility, though the exact details might be difficult given the fact that there's not much of the body left to look at.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything as far as rats or anything like that, yeah?
No, you have not.
So this is just decay. Not
smell.
Scavenged.
And more importantly, you don't smell that bitterness that ends up coming from typical corpses. Maybe they just dried out, or they've been here for so long that the smell is gone, but the bones remain. And what's left of the robes at this point. They don't see any evidence of animals chewing on them or scavenging.
I'm definitely going to kneel down and get a closer look at some of the bodies. Maybe going so far as to use part of a sword or something to move like a arm or one of the heads around. Okay. Get a better look.
Roll me your choice, and what you choose will end up changing what details I give you. You can roll a medicine, or you can roll an investigation, your choice.
I will do investigation. 22.
One thing seems obvious to you. While a lot of the bodies have been moved to clear the path, the bodies a little further back to the northern hallway don't seem to be so. A lot of them seem to have fallen forward as though they were all rushing towards that hallway. Alright, before we move forward, Captain, there's a theory I want to test. It's relatively for our own safety. What's the theory?
There is a chance that the end of the hallway might have some sort of trap, and while this pathway is obviously well trodden, there's always the chance that that trap could still go off. So what I'd like to do is cast Fly on myself, so I'm not on the floor, I'm not on the bodies, and let me double check that this is not... okay. And I'm going to go down the north hallway a little bit, just kind of checking to see if there's anything outside the bodies out of the ordinary.
Okay. You fly, hovering over the centuries-long bones, going a little bit into the dark, though I suppose that's not much of an issue with you, given low-life vision. And as you go around the corner, you see it. The walls are decked in silver and gold lace. At the end of the hallway, you end up seeing a small display, very much built in ornate detail. a... Excuse me. Cat's trying to kill me with my own dice.
Of course. Baby.
Does that account for all of them? I think so. Okay. So I don't step on a D4 later. Sorry.
Fair.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're fine.
You see this pedestal, and you don't see anything on it. But what you do see that's important is one of these skeletal figures does not look like the rest. The rest of them are all dressed in holy vestments and garbs, clearly worshippers or individuals who worked within this temple. What you see, however, is a figure who is not dressed as such. You see him, in fact, Captain, you would recognize the garb immediately. This is, or, pardon, you can't see it, so I can't end up describing that. I'll simply say that you end up seeing this individual who's dressed in rotted leathers, very lightweight gear, a clothing that befits a sailor of some kind. And they are grabbing hold of what appears to be a warhammer, but this warhammer is significantly different from the ones that the clay sculptures hold. No, this is a individual who's or this warhammer in particular has ornate gilding towards it. It doesn't even appear to have rusted or faded. Its luster has remained. Even the walls around here have faded a bit. Silver, not cared for, loses its luster just as gold, but this looks almost brand new. Not even dust touches it. And it's firmly in the grasp of this individual. You can only assert that this individual took this off the pedestal, looking at the rest of the bodies reaching out, falling forward. It seemed that the members of the temple gave chase to try and stop him. Something happened when he grabbed it. What? Can't be sure.
Hey, Captain?
Yeah.
Get the others near the door. I'm about to... All logic says not to, but...
You're gonna do something
I
stupid.
have a thought. Yeah, I am.
Roby's going to just call out, if there's something stupid to do, you still got me.
No, thank you. She is going to grab the warhammer, not to take it out of this hallway, but in an attempt to move it back onto the pedestal.
Mm-mm.
And I'm collecting everybody else to move them towards the staircase down.
Okay. So you're trying to grab hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you take it, I need you to roll me a wisdom save.
Quick question. Am I being charmed?
No.
Okay. I've got to check regardless. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Dirty 20.
You touch it, and you are bombarded with visions, cascading over your mind and forcing in such knowledge that you shouldn't know. so quickly and so harshly, you almost feel as though your brain's going to explode. You have to fight just to end up not losing yourself. When you try and hold them together, you end up seeing it. Sailoring ship. You know it's a good haul. You end up trying to end up finding an island to make port, a place to hide. You look at the hull. You end up seeing people chained under it. You see mounds of gold. Those in chains used to be here, sailors, and even there's Captain Burke wearing the admiral's hats that you've just overtaken. You end up sealing the port, or you try and make port onto a island that has long since been abandoned. Or so you thought. And the next vision is going up the path. You end up having a priest, currently bound, pushing him forward to end up showing you can't believe your luck. A payday, more to end up putting promise of treasure that ends up making it almost impossible to launch away. But can't go burying your treasure on a known island. Can't go hoarding it off just in case you're caught. But the opportunity for more people in the hold, that'll fetch a pretty price. The need to end up gathering more, to end up imagining it. You see the treasures that line the room towards the altar. You see them run as one of the individuals opens up a door. They start to pour in. Oh, they have hidden treasures too. And they're panic trying to use it as some kind of safe room. It's not enough. You pour in and give chase. The next vision, as you end up slipping by many of your fellow pirates, dead at the hands of sculpted angels. You managed to down a few, but you give chase. Now it's a matter of, it was good enough if you could just end up taking your hold's worth and going in, but that's not enough now. No. Blood has been spilled, and blood it'll be repaid. Even if they are praying that something will save them, you end up slashing into flesh. Blood spills, and it's just the start of your vengeance. After all, you're part of the crew, and the crew looks after each other. You flash to another vision. Running. You need a weapon. You need something. They're gone. You end up seeing many of the individuals who are trying to end up running as well. Did it get loose, that thing in there? What did they do? What did they bring? Desperation takes hold of your heart. You're lost in the dark, trying to follow the embers of torches you've knocked over from the hands of many of these followers. You see it, laid with gold, silver, a weapon of any kind. They're trying to stop you from taking it. You need to defend yourself. You need something to get out of here. As you grab it. Judgment. Judgment of a god. Not just on you, but the island as a whole. Bright light. A figure floating over you. She holds her staff high. An hammer, like the one in the one in your hand, brought down from the heavens. And everything goes white. You find yourself holding the hammer, your head splitting in pain from the visions, from the cascade. Vanya, I will allow you 3 questions you can ask. I will answer them to the best of my ability within the context of what you know.
The thing the sailor was running from. Was there any glimpse of what it could have been? Where it's at?
Yes. It's chained. Or at least it was. But that didn't stop it. In a gaze, reducing the people to ash, to stone. Burning, freezing. So many eyes. It's caught, trapped, attached to machinery of some kind. Chains are giving way. A device constructed not being aware of what this thing could do. Some of the metal has already been gone. Small links barely contain it.
The task we were asked to do. Would I have been able to tell if that is to free this creature, or if it keeps it contained?
Neither. It's to keep the device functioning. It's to keep this island as a magical dead zone. Though, how long it can maintain, only Tyr knows.
The machine in question. Was it a result of the judgment of the entire island?
No, it's the other way around. The judgment came from the creation of the machine and what needed to be done to create it. Fault of faith. A desperation and a ploy, reaching into things that should not be. And when it all came out of control, judgment, brought in the form of one who stood above all else on this island.
I know I've asked my 3, but that figure I saw hovering above in the visions, would I have recognized them?
Already asked 3.
I was hoping to get away with it.
But you're free to speculate. After all, it was blinding light.
I have speculation indeed. She's gonna look down at the hammer with a lot more understanding of what may need to be done.
Pulse is in your hand. You can feel it. A righteousness in your hand. You bring it down, and you bring it down with judgment. The scales will end up set in motion. You will know. This hammer brings truth to light, to balance the scales. You know. Something inside you says you will know.
If you do belong to Tyr, and you are listening, I hope whatever we're about to do won't upset you too much. And she's going to set it on the pedestal. Approximately how she assumes it would have been sitting.
Okay. I will make a note. I'll do you one better. Let's make a religion check, because that sounded almost like a prayer.
Gee, the party might be rubbing off on her.
Maybe just a bit.
Nat 20.
Not 20.
For a 23.
Ooh. Very well then. I will give you all. You will all feel this. Warmth. Like the world has been set a little bit more right. And as it does, it comes back to you. You don't know why, but suddenly you know one good thing. Just one good thing has happened. And it fills you with a vigor, a need to stand. You stand a little straighter. You don't feel quite as exhausted as through the trials. Each of you feels it. Small amount of light inside in that heart. A strength and a resolve. So long as you are within this temple, you all have advantage on savings throws, regardless of the roll.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So long as you are within this temple. You had the opportunity to end up showcasing or taking a part of Tyr's power for your own. And instead you chose to give it up. Give it back to its temple. To right the scales of what was wrong. And so, perhaps at this exact moment, Tyr smiles upon you.
Gaze is going to linger on the hammer for a little bit longer, contemplating what she knows now and the task they've been set to do. It might not be the right choice. But she'll go and rejoin the party.
Anya, I didn't hear a boom or anything. Did you do the stupid thing yet?
She's coming back.
Oh.
Stupid thing has been done, and it wasn't as stupid as I thought it would be. You remember how the little one was telling the story of Tyr's hammer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found it.
Oh, well, shit.
For what it's worth, do not go back there and take it. It's where it belongs. I know that much. But when I grabbed it, I saw what happened here, bits and pieces. It's a little harder to put together, but they made something on this island. Something that shouldn't have been. It seems almost like a magic that shouldn't have been touched. Alongside machinery. And in the process, the person who was trying to steal that hammer tears judgment down on this island. In such a way, it turned into what it is now, which is the best I can think of as a prison.
Prison for who?
I don't know. Maybe not necessarily a who, but a what. The magic that they were experimenting with, the machines. It's hard to say. They may have been using his magic in a way that he wasn't liking. And he decided to punish them. All I do know is that there is something down there that brought this on this island. Something that shouldn't be.
Oh,
This is
so
where it
good.
fucks with
Vera.
the magic of the gods.
Yeah, I was going to say I've already got bitch slapped by one god. I'm not about to go taking another god's toys.
Something about encountering things that should not be is quite in theme for us, I'm finding.
Mhm. I do know everything just felt right. Putting that hammer back where it belonged.
Just putting it out there as a devil's advocate. An artifact like that could fetch a pretty penny.
We're about to go mine a mountain of platinum.
She's going to set her hands on the captain's shoulders. Believe me when I say the price you're going to pay for doing that is not worth it. That guy was killed instantly. Just for grabbing it.
Like I said, devil's advocate. Not saying I'm going to do it. Just saying that those of more of a loot mind might not agree with me on that one.
Hirobi's going to take off his upper garb and turn around. And you're going to see a giant claw handprint and slash across his back.
That's
This
what
is
happens
what-
when you get bitch slapped.
This is what happened when a god was annoyed with how I was acting. The same kind of god that Tyr is. A god of justice. Do you really think taking his personal belongings is a good idea for money?
Like I said, it's just, I was just putting it out there because somebody was thinking it, and maybe it was me, maybe
Fair.
not. You know, I make a
think-
living finding artifacts.
If you want to
Yeah.
go take a god's hammer, we're going down these stairs.
Oh,
I
no.
can promise you we are coming across far more interesting things when we get off this island, Captain.
Yeah, a literal mountain of platinum that we're going to mine.
That's all I'm saying, is that should my first mate find out that we skipped out on this artifact, he might have me. Just saying.
Then let's keep it amongst ourselves. Ourselves only. I'm sure you can agree to that, Captain, for the safety of your crew. In that manner.
Yeah, what crew I got left?
Because that sailor, when he grabbed it, he wanted to use it to protect himself from whatever is down below waiting.
Oh,
But I think because of who he was, how he operated, it just killed him instantly.
Hey,
Pirates were on this island before that. He was a part of that crew.
If you don't mind, I'd like to do one thing before we head on. And Kurobe's going to walk towards the corner and lay eyes on the hammer.
Lay eyes on the hammer.
And he's going to take his sword off of his back or his side and lay it down, slowly get down on his knees and clasp his hands and say a prayer.
Roll me a religion check. Given the
Okay, this
fact
will
that
not be
you're not a
good.
follower of Tyr.
No. That is a 16 because of a -2. And he's just going to think in his mind, Tyr, I know you're not a god that I serve, but I believe you uphold the same things as the one that I do. I'm going to try to make things right on this island. And he's just going to think and stay silent for a moment and then get up and join his crew or his members again.
I will take note.
Alright, this... And Vanya is going to explain out what she had seen with the creature and the machine, what she remembers of it from the vision, how it supposedly worked.
So, you said many eyes. If it's like the thing we saw outside that we've heard stories about, maybe that's what's causing everything around. Do you think if we defeat it, that things will go back to normal on this island?
what's normal?
Magic working, ship flying.
I don't think fighting it would do much good, if anything.
Obviously self-defense. Should it still be down there?
Oh, it's all self-defense, obviously. It's been here a long time. I do know that. I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's a slim chance we might be able to maybe work with it to fix what is going on with this island. Figure it out, and
Well, that is if it's
maybe...
a smart creature.
I don't know. I do know that we are outsiders. Obviously, we had nothing to do with how it's hooked up to the machine. We were sent in here for a task to replace a part on this machine, I think, with no knowledge of what had happened. It was just by chance that I came across that hammer. And chance that I didn't want its power. I didn't start this journey for power. It's not been a thing I've wanted. That's why I put it back. And somehow that chance gave me answers? A hint? I don't... It's hard to describe it.
If there is any reasoning with the thing, then I don't see it being a problem to try.
I've just never heard in stories that they are ever really reasonable.
But have you ever heard stories of one living as long as this one has?
No, it's not like a tree. When you cut them in half, you can't just count the rings.
I think we might have a good shot at it, to be honest.
Vanya, Vanya, I'm trying to follow your line of logic here. Right? I'm trying to follow your
Mhm.
line of logic. So how did you come to that conclusion?
It was hooked up to this machine to keep the machine running.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it is going to be very pissed at whomever, especially those who had a hand in it. Logic says whoever is going down to mess with the machine to keep it running, it's probably going to attack. And if that machine is a machine that is keeping the anti-magic up, then stopping the machine stops any agony it's in. But to confirm any of this, we need to talk to it, if it's capable of speech.
If that's the approach you feel right in taking.
Obviously, Ember's still gonna have her sword at hand, just in case things go a little tits up.
Yeah. And obviously, we're not the typical people who come up to fiddle with the machine. We had no idea what the machine has been doing, or hooked up to anything technically still living. So we might have a shot.
Let us move everybody into place then. Well, because of course my trying to get all this settled might be a bother. Lugon is going to end up staying behind, as he wants to end up keeping an eye out, cover any chance of retreat this exact moment. Leaving the four of you to end up continuing on.
And I'll lead us forward.
Bonnie will be
that.
right behind.
You go down this staircase. It twists and turns. You can see that what has been crafted here is a lot rougher. What you've run into is stonework. You can end up telling this, being a dwarf, dear Captain, that a lot of this is a lot more hasty. Like they had to dig another level down. And they need to dig deep. They need to dig deep. And hope that the stone would hold. Here you can see a handful of shafts along the stairs, showcasing piping going upward. Lenses and other such things. Yep, if concentrating it. Seems the deeper you go in, the less The secret that this temple was designed to hold continues. By the time you get to the bottom of the staircase, you are greeted with rough rooms, a small hallway. There seems to be a cross section, a double door that seems to go what you can definitely ascertain is west. A small gap that may be an entranceway to the east, and a door that is closed off to the north. The hallway here is dark. Old torches that have long since burnt out line the hallway, and hastily, if crafted, the term be, I want to say sconce, but that's not correct. God, brain.
Well, are we
Breaking the
talking about
immersion.
the
Holding
sconces?
the torches.
Sconces.
Sconces, thank you. Thank you. Why did I have to forget that word?
We got words
Oh.
is hard.
I'm sorry, did I make you buffer that hard?
No, I just had a buffer. That was that hard. There's no light down here, save for what you bring. Who here is responsible for light at this exact moment, if you need some at all?
I think Kurobe's sword is still lit, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm basically using my sword as a torch.
Benefits of a flaming sword.
the other light source that we had is Lagon's drift globe, but if he's not coming down,
He's
then-
not
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Now, are there torches on the wall, just not lit?
Yes,
or
they're not lit.
Okay.
They might be burned out at this point. Already gone through the oil that they would normally end up being drenched in. Normally, such places would be more candles and something far more formal, but here it's more akin to a mining shaft than a temple.
Gonna give them a look over, see if we can actually light them.
You can. You illuminate them. Long shadows end up cascading down the halls, showcasing your own forms as you go.
Definitely testing to make sure that there's no traps or pitfalls going forward. Towards the double doors. Oh, you're muted. Hang on. Discord. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. I think my Discord crashed.
Welcome back, everybody, as we end up continuing to delve within the Temple of Tyr, and here in Rebirth, a D&D tale, hosted by CoffeeCat Presents. The hallway you end up coming into has 3 points of note. A double door upon the western side, you coming in from the south. A smaller door on the west, and what appears to be a little bit of a nook heading east. The hallway is short enough, only spanning maybe 25 feet, and is lined with torches that have long since burned out, hanging in their sconces. Valera has ended up deciding to trying to light them in order to offer some light beyond Kurobe's burning sword. And as you end up stepping in, you can hear it, feel it in the ground, this movement like pistons, like gears, ticking, churning under the stone, or through the stone. You find yourself able to end up stepping forward. Illuminating this hall, you can end up seeing those double doors and the splendor there. Despite the roughness of everything else, these seem to be finely crafted. The doorway across the hall, on the other hand, seems to be built out of scrap wood at best. And I believe Captain was about to end up taking an action at that point.
Yeah, so moving forward down the hall, the sort of nook to the east, is there something to be seen of any note in there?
Yes, in fact. When you end up taking a look in there, the first thing you'll end up noticing is canvases. Not hanging on the wall, more leaning against the floor. Some have been tipped over. Some have been painted on loosely, roughly, very quickly. Something you can see old scattered paints. They're just splattered on the floor and dried out from long ago. The one seen on an easel ends up showcasing well, it's incomplete, but you can see it. 7 silhouettes standing before a great door.
We may have found some of the paintings.
Oh, she's
Oh,
going to move
canvases.
into the room.
Canvases and paints and things of that sort.
Are we all walking up?
Up to you.
I'm walking in. I'm already in this space.
All right. Would the painting that they pointed out or told me to look behind, would I see it?
It's on an easel, so it's not hanging up. There's nothing behind it itself.
Oh, okay. It's just a single painting.
It's a single painting that's partially done. You see a whole bunch of other easels piled up in the corner. Along the walls, you can see many here. God dang. Why are words hard today?
Sconces?
No,
Pallets?
why is my brain canvases? There we go.
Yeah.
Many canvases that are all placed on wood brackets to stretch them tight, all stacked in the corner of various sizes. Looks like this place was hastily thrown together. Like as if these materials were supposed to be elsewhere, and now they've been hastily put here. The painting seems to have, whoever the artist was, seems to have been interrupted for some reason.
I'm gonna
Odd
start
little
gonna
painting. Here. Go on.
Well, I was just gonna say I would start going through them and seeing what what if anything looks of interest or value or something. Just kind of thumbing through them because I'm.
Roll me a quick. Roll me a quick investigation. And Kurobe, it looks like you're moving towards the double doors. What is everybody else doing while the captain investigates?
I suppose what I'm up to is I'm going to move along with Kurobe in this regard. I'm giving him wide berth, more or less, if he chooses to go through the doors in case they're trapped.
And I got a 15.
15. Captain, you're flipping through them. You see some are in various states. Some painted like a fever dream. The artist throwing paint on the canvas like a person possessed. You can feel the energy of the painting itself. As you go through half done, quarter done, some sketches. Then you will run across one that catches your attention. And it should. After all, you never look that good on canvas.
I pull it out and just kind of look at it better in the light.
It's a painting of you. In front of what appears to be a ship mast with the ocean behind you. With an island behind you. A very familiar one.
As she's holding it, she's just kind of stroking the the bit of her beard near her chin. Alright. That's odd. I don't think I've ever commissioned an artist for painting before.
Especially with all the dust that is collecting on the sides that would have been exposed.
Somehow frames me to be taller.
Not touching that.
What you think? She kind of holds up the painting to the rest of the group.
Wait,
I
so you can
think
look
it's-
presentable?
I'll ignore that you said that.
He'll just go smirk.
Old ass fuck.
Why would there be a painting of you down here, though? Have you ever been here before?
No.
And it
The
looks old.
likenesses. Man, they really got every last detail, didn't they?
Well, I mean, it could be someone else from my family. I mean, there's plenty of dwarves who've got red hair and a red beard and beads like this. And
And the same clothes?
Same head. You know, I'm not the first in my family to become a sailor. I'm the first kind of to go outside of Elatua to do it.
Hold on. Arya's gonna go and look through the pictures to see if she can find herself.
You look through, and there's no finished piece. It's not like the one the captain's presenting. But if you squint your eyes just right, roll me a investigation. Let's see what you find, or what
Flat
catches
roll.
your eye.
4.
4. That one looks a little bit like you. Yeah, but you're not sure why you're hanging off of a cliff, or is that a ledge? And why is there a whole, like, maybe a rough grid? Maybe those are bars? Or no, they don't connect. They're almost like teeth. That can't be. The mouth is way too big. It's like it would eat you in one bite as you're hanging off the ledge.
Arya doesn't like it, so she just puts it back and decides to pretend she didn't see it. Just turns to the group. Nothing there.
Vanya, knowing her fiance very, very well, is going to go over and take a look through them.
And you see it. Little moments. Band of adventurers going through a twisted forest with figures within the wood. The illumination of a small girl playing a lute with a half-rendered figure at her side. Others you'll end up seeing is a man with a baby currently trying to swim to shore out of a wreckage. Gotta be hundreds of these little paintings, some in various states. A lot of them painted feverishly. Maybe your eyes go back to the one on the easel. The one of 7 figures standing in front of a grand door.
Does the door have any detail to it?
It does. It looks as though it is a figure of 2 large wings taking on the place of the door. Closed. Maybe folding over each other. There's a light coming from behind it. And the upper part of the painting doesn't seem to be complete, as it's bare canvas, but the way it's rendered, it's almost like blinding light.
Alright,
I have
figures.
a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Would this be consistent to what Bahamut would show up to me as when he gives me visions and speaks to me?
I'm not even going to make you roll. Yes. It's like somebody was quickly trying to put down the visions that they have witnessed. Trying to bring it to canvas. Some in detail, some hurried, some feverishly put down. Some in intricate detail, such as the captain's.
Guys, I don't know how to say this.
Bluntly
But
and
I know that
straightforward.
figure. I know that figure. He's the one that gave me this, and I'll point to his back.
To be clear, just in, because I don't want a misinterpretation. When I'm talking about how it was given, I am talking about in the same vein. When you are given a vision, you can imagine it being something
Oh,
like
okay.
this. This is, but don't misconstrue this as being a vision of Bahamut.
Okay. Sorry. I will amend this then.
Okay.
This is what it looks like when he talks to me. When he tells me what to do. It's not always sentences, it's not always voices. Sometimes it's a place, a person,
Pictures.
a feeling. Maybe this is something was telling someone things that were going to happen, and they started painting them.
Vanya's gonna get a closer look at the figures on that painting. To see if she can recognize the shapes.
One seems to be winged. Another seems to have some kind of instrument on their back. One young man bald and with a large blade of fire. Another stout figure. Looks like they were trying to fill in red when they were doing the hair, but had to stop at some point. It's very messy. Very unrefined.
They were seeing us. But
That's eerie. That's incredibly eerie. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not like this painting is bad. It's just
It'd be worth
none
about
of us.
2,000. Definitely a skilled artist, certainly in the level of detail. Hell, you're pretty sure they ended up using a singular horsehair to get the detail in your beard.
this image is rather vivid, though. This one needs some
It
time
is.
on. When I flip it over, is there like an artist signatures on it? Or maybe like a seal? Hello?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear it yet. Maybe
Oh,
it died out for me.
I was asking, flipping over the canvas of the image that the one that is of
Mhm.
me. Is there an artist like symbol or signature?
Nope.
Damn. Knew it worth a lot more if I knew who did it.
You can only speculate at this point. But then again, for all you know, you already stepped over their remains.
Unknown artist. Very good. I'll have to come back for this. And she sets it down where it was so that it doesn't get like knocked over or anything. Remind me to pick that up when we start heading out, because these might be worth something.
At least be worth asking the other three about.
Why do I get the feeling that everything's pushing us to go through those doors and figure out what to do with what's inside?
Because it is.
Just so you know, Vanya, I know you want to try to reason with it, but if it's going to harm innocence or if it's evil, we gotta deal with it.
Well, we can't necessarily make that call until we actually see the thing. Right?
And who knows? It may be an aberrant creature where it's basically got nothing left except anger.
Anger's good.
It's been
Anger
here.
makes you stupid.
It's been here for who knows how long. That could be all it knows. Anger's sometimes a weapon of choice in some creatures. And there's plenty of tales of monsters that make no sense visually, fish that have 4 eyes, or giant snakes that live out in the midst of the ocean.
If it does come down to a fight, he's going to look over at Vanya and, why did I just brain fart? Arya. I wanted to say Aurelia, but that's something else. He's going to look over at Vanya and Arya. You two make sure that you stay safe. Protect each other.
What am I, chopped liver?
Of course.
I've
Oh,
known
you'll
them
be
longer.
protected too.
I'm going to be in the thing's face, but I expect you can look out for yourself.
Thanks, your concern is noted. But I'll
Vanya's
be in
gonna
the
move
thing's
toward the
face
double
too.
doors.
Should diplomacy fail.
Oh, it's a different kind of diplomacy at that point. A more permanent kind.
Right. Well, let's check out this other chamber to the north and see what's in there first, and then go and check out the double doors. So,
Well then.
yeah, she's going to the door to the north and seeing what's in there.
You check the door. And it appears locked.
Well, it's a good thing I got tools for that.
Alright, then make the roll.
As a thieves' tools check. Using dexterity, right?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 17 plus 9. That's 26.
It's old. It's an old mechanism. Certainly not crafted from the finest smiths and the most ingenious creators. Instead, this lock is fairly simple. But then again, most of the mechanics you end up seeing, or most of the mechanisms you see here, if not orchestrated by divine vision, are relatively rudimentary. When you finish with your tools, you hear a satisfying click. It's open. And you just revel in a job knowing that you're well beyond whatever challenges that this could ever offer. Door's open.
Alright. And what do I find in here?
When you open the door, you see a very large hall. Not a hallway, a hall. Inside it, you see the remains of a tattered rug leading from this double door to a set of double doors across. These are immaculately made, depicting 2 angel wings, one of each door. Along the walls, you see a series of paintings. You look to end up seeing them. The first, an image of that depicts droplets of blood falling from the sky, mixing in with the water. And if from where they touch, the growth of some kind of island, mountain, like a droplet that hit the ocean, and instead of splashing up with water, splashed up with earth. The second holy sight, as pilgrims come from all around, small dinghies to great vessels, whatever would make them make the trip. Whole temple constructed. Third, visions of something else, fluttering on butterfly wings, horrible hags, and worse, as the forest grows over. The forest itself threatening to consume and bring with it whatever unnatural wonders it dare bring. The next, desperation, as individuals in robes are being taken, dragged from their beds by mischievous, grinning, horrible things into the forest, into the trees. Many of them screaming as they're pulled into the dark. It's a montage of horrors. There, a single carver tries to end up making a form, a figure. He carves diligently, peeling away clay. An unfinished creature with long wings, inspired by tear. Another as they feel overwhelmed. The soldiers and the faithful. The inspiration crafted, and yet they're pushed back, huddling within temples, threatening to starve. The next, a desperate gambit. Something unholy inscribed in a great circle. Those who may be of the mind, you might recognize this as a summoning circle. And something is coming out from beyond. Next is a thing, a monstrosity that where you can't tell where flesh begins and tubes end. Shackled. Something covering its what you presume would be a face. Like some kind of horrible mask. And above it, a beam of light from the mountain. And the last, a single man over an anvil with a hammer, being watched by a figure just behind them in the shadows. The eyes judging him for every hammer blow that he strikes. The pictures tell a tale. A chilling one at that.
And just to be clear, that's through the double doors?
That's as soon as you go to the double doors, aligning this entire hall, one picture after the next, in sequential order.
Oh, okay. Because I had said I was going north.
Oh, my brain dead moment.
But
I'm sorry, I did the backwards.
it's okay.
Wow.
That's outlined. That's what we see. But definitely wanted to check north.
Well, now on to less interesting things.
If it's less interesting, we can move on. It's fine.
No, it's not. It's not that. Big reveal. Wrong room. So, you open the doors to, or the door to the north. When you end up going in, you'll end up seeing a handful of cots and racks upon racks of scrolls. What appears to be a drafting table of some kind, and an inkwell that has run dry long ago.
Are the scrolls basically the schematics for the machine?
Oh, how insightful are you? Yes, that is exactly what they are. Blueprints, designs, theories, madmen drivel.
Do any of them describe the piece that we're meant to replace and where it's supposed to go? This way we're not.
They're very old. They're very old parchment. Might threaten to crumble in your hands if you do so. But it's up to you to look through them.
Very
so
gentle.
Your choice.
Very gentle. Going to be very gentle.
Roll me a investigation at disadvantage.
Oh, yikes.
Because after all, if you rush it, you're going to break something.
I'm not rushing it. Taking my time with it. Investigation's not great. That's a 19 wasted. And that's a 4. Minus 1 is 3.
You go through the scrolls, you try and gently open them. And you think you find it. It looks similar. You try and end up peeling it back to see how it connects to the greater mechanism. And as soon as you do, the paper splits. And it rebounds, trying to take its rolled up form. And as soon as it does so, hitting your hands, it starts to crumble away. Oh no.
No. Well, shit.
Do I recognize the painting I was told that the thing would be behind?
Do you remember which one it is?
No, because it's been like 3 weeks.
Guess you're gonna have to investigate then.
Alright, I'm gonna start looking behind paintings.
Okay. Every time you lift a painting, there is a chunk of the wall that is removed perfectly to fit the painting. And you can see them. Many devices, lenses. Some look like they're covered in oil or some kind of tar. Others almost pristine. Some look like they are rusted. Some even made of copper that is corroded green. So how would you go about ascertaining where to place it?
I'm basically looking for the same size and piece that they gave us. Because it should be a 1-to-1 swap, even though it's crudely made.
Okay, well, there's a handful of them, but let's see on how you might be able to ascertain. You know what? Let's leave this to your investigative check. After all, you're smart.
I'm smart. I am smart. That's a natural 20, so an 18.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
The last painting depicting a solitary blacksmith with a figure behind it, with judging eyes, it sways open. And you look at the piece, you look at the internals. Yeah, that'll do it. Yank, plug. I did it, guys. And it's at this point I would like.
This machine will self-destruct in 20 minutes.
I gotta end up figuring out something here. So, if you did that, now give me a. What do you figure that would be? An athletics check for your Indiana Jones maneuver?
I'll
What do you figure
take
that-
it.
What do you figure that is?
I figured that's an athletics, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so that is a 17, so 30.
It don't even rattle the frame. You end up looking as this momentary bit of light suddenly illuminates out and is closed off as soon as it goes back. Now the light continues through the lenses as you hold back the piece that you had before. It's seeming to be coated in some kind of grease, like something's melting it.
Oh, I think I did it, guys. I took the one thing and put it where this thing was. It looked right.
I guess good job?
I don't know, this thing seems funny. It's like it's been melted or something. Here, you want to look at it, Arya?
Sure. And I'm gonna look at it.
I'm just going to hand it out and like plop it in her hands, grease and all.
Just
Yeah,
visibly frowns.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, Arya. Not at all. You can feel it. It's...
I'm just going to look over at Vanya and give a wink.
Wow, thanks so much.
Well, you said you wanted to see it.
You can throw it at him, honey.
I don't really know what to do with it. She's just.
I didn't know if there was something that you can maybe like see in this that, you know, can figure out what this does.
I'm gonna use prestidigitation to ungrease it.
You certainly do, but when you do so, you realize that huge chunks of the lenses seem to be almost melted out. Like they're destabilizing. And maybe it's at this point. Well, you're pretty smart. Let's do a quick another investigation at advantage, because I think you might understand the actual problem now.
Okay, 18 is the first roll. 1 is the second roll. I'll take the 18.
How are they getting the lenses?
Well, there's sand on this island.
Yeah, but you have a blacksmith. He's not crafting lenses. Who's giving the lenses? Shiel.
Yeah, Shiel would have to because she's the only one who's getting really any of these random materials.
But that would imply they're magically inclined. You remember, hey, you ended up gaining a detection of magic from the lenses earlier.
Yeah.
But what are they focusing? What are they crafting? What does this machine do?
Focus is magic.
It makes a dead zone.
Oh,
It's an anti-magic field crafted from magical materials.
Mm.
You imagine this might not work well for long-term solutions.
oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is my sword still on fire?
Right now it is. Might have flickered a bit when you ended up doing the quick swap, but I presumed you turned it off because you had to do a quick swap.
Yeah, well, it's lit it. I wanted to see if it lights up again to make sure that we still have our powers. Okay. So, do we want to go through the other door and see what this is and pull off the proverbial bandage?
Boy, we're here. Might as well.
Well, the machine's probably beyond those other doors. She starts pointing towards the unopened doors. You can hear the ticking and the clacking and the
Droning.
All
right.
is back there.
Oh, let's do this then. And Kroby's going to walk over and see if the doors are unlocked, and if they are, you'll push them open and walk in.
They are certainly sealed.
Well,
Makes sense. This is the heart of the machine.
Let's just see if I can crack those locks.
By all means.
Well, if you do it, they could be locked again. If I do it, then...
Best to make sure they can relock if need be.
Yeah.
I don't intend to damage it.
Well, no, that's why I said if you do it, they can be relocked. If I do it, it's more of a permanent open.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was saying.
And who's to say that those bodies upstairs weren't running from this thing down here?
I think they were trying to stop the guy from getting the mace.
Well, that too.
Or both.
It could be both.
And Bardic Inspiration.
Alright.
Alright.
Bardic Inspiration it is. That's a D8, right?
Yep.
That is a D8.
Okay. I will roll my dice. Well, that's a 10 on the dice, a 6 on the 8. 16 plus 9 is 25.
16 plus 9 is 25. This is a lot more intricate. You watch as the feathers that interlace with each other serve as part of the locking mechanism. There's no apparent keyhole. Instead, you run your fingers along it to try and find little pieces of what you might be able to slip your tools in. It takes a lot of poking and prodding for eventually. Well, you must have hit the right thing as you feel the feathers start to pull back and leave a clear crack where the doors should open.
And I'm
Okay.
going to slowly open the door and peek in.
All right.
Okay, even I have to...
Go ahead.
sorry. I was about to say, okay, even I have to admit it. You can be useful.
Fuck you.
I was trying
In
to give you a
traditional
compliment.
dwarvish flipping you off. Traditional dwarvish. No, so as you end up doing so, I would like you to roll me a stealth check at this point, because I'm getting the impression you're trying not to do this like Kurobe wanted.
Oh no, not exactly. Entirely opposite, actually.
And as a reminder, Pass Without Trace is still up.
Yes. So I have really good stealth. And I have Pass
Coffee
Without
is-
Trace.
Coffee is encountering the Ultra Sneak.
Yes, the ultra sneak.
Absolutely.
17 plus my 13 modifier is 30, plus 10 is 40.
That is more than enough.
Wait, where'd the captain go?
Rogue gonna rogue,
Captain,
y'all.
when you end up looking at this, what you see is a creature on top of a dais, or not a dais, but a large circle. It would seem that there's some kind of pit dug around this circle. But what you're running across is seeing this large thing. You can see a maw underneath. Part of its, for lack of a better term, mask torn off. It's murmuring lightly. As you can see, chains holding it in place. A lot of them are gone. A handful of stalks with eyes start to look about, just swaying gently, like seaweeds caught in the tide among the air. Part of its upper head is encased in some kind of device that leads to a tube that is going off into the pit. Now, all around you can see the machinery. You can see other such things covering a handful of these eye stalks. Maybe to keep it bound or to keep it from looking, but a lot of them have rotted away. Looks not like no one can come in here to end up fully repairing this thing's restraints. It hovers there, silent. Little more than the occasional murmuring in some kind of language to itself.
Is it one I understand, or is it not common or dwarvish?
It's definitely not dwarvish. It sounds like something guttural, something noises that a tongue should not be able to make.
Do I understand what this creature is?
You do. You had your suspicions beforehand when you looked at the remains of something above, large eye that's rotted and decayed on a bulbous body of rancid skin and flesh, but this is alive. This is a beholder. This is the thing that you're very familiar with the tales. Some are all creatures of ego. Something that shouldn't exist. It doesn't normally exist in the world. It's an abomination. And certainly worthy of Tyr's ire. Maybe if Anya told you the story, you'd know why the priest invoked Tyr's wrath, and why his judgment has fallen on the island.
Sliding back to where the rest of the party is. Not closing the door behind me, but kind of just slinking back to the rest of the party. I know what powers The non-magic field, the anti-magic field. A beholder's gaze. It's
Yeah.
being amplified by this
Oh.
machine. This machine is meant to take that creature's vision and blanket the whole of the island underneath it.
That explains a lot.
A beholder looks at you, and those who can cast magic, yes, it's useless. Not only that, but also can fire off the elements. It could disintegrate you. It can, depending on the flavor, even hypnotize you into its own service. So the legends go.
Vanya's gonna look at the group. I may have been wrong. I do apologize about that.
Oh, you don't want to talk to it anymore?
I misinterpreted what I saw a little bit, perhaps. I think maybe. No. Talking to it still might be a better option than fighting, because us trying to fight something like that might not turn out too well for us, but. Hang on, why am I taking this stance? Kirby, you're usually the one that wants to talk to things.
Now, I need to ask something real quick. You did say you were leaving that door cracked open, didn't you?
Just a crack.
And Vanya just had an outburst just now, didn't they?
She tried to keep it as quiet as possible.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I heard a distinct vocal increase in that inflection.
We might need to have Vanya.
Anya, I'd like you to roll me a stealth check at penalty, as you may have forgotten yourself, which balances out
Yeah.
because you are under a heavy modifier. But
Yeah. Well, let's
What's
see
the
what the dice
penalty?
say.
Disadvantage?
yep, which cancels out with the advantage that was initially given with the.
No, it's
No,
not
that's
advantage,
just
it's
a
plus
no,
one.
that's a
plus
plus.
10.
That's just a plus 10, so you're at disadvantage,
Yeah.
but you do get a plus 10. So
Let's see here. Stealth. 28.
okay, you clasp your mouth when you realize your volume's going higher.
All right,
Kind of look
fine.
to the door.
Yeah. Try not to. The thing's murmuring, it's maybe dreaming, maybe sleeping, but I don't want to wake it.
Fine.
You
I'll go
said-
talk to it.
No, Kirby. Stay. You said it was murmuring?
Yeah. In some kind of weird language I don't understand.
If I put my ear up to the door, can I hear it?
You could.
My
Out of
language.
curiosity, what languages do you speak?
I was about to pull that up. I speak Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Primordial, and Celestial.
No, you do not understand it.
Vanya's gonna do the same thing. Is there a chance I could?
All right. Rather than let everybody listen through, who here understands deep speech?
Hi.
It speaks. It speaks for rage. It speaks of tearing this place down, becoming free, of hunting down every follower of a cursed gods. It is rage, left to fester like a rotting wound, put to service, and now it needs out. Desperation. Desperation that's mirrored in times before, when the followers of Tyr reached out to anything they could use to stem the Fey incursion. Now, it murmurs to itself, driven insane in isolation. Occasionally, its own chains rattle as it slowly drifts. The chain goes taut, rust falls to the floor. Perhaps it's been in captivity so long it's never considered that its own bindings are falling apart. Then again, what would happen if it was disturbed? How fast could it rip through those? And what it would do if it suddenly realized that it could just pull itself free, if that's the case. These are very old, withered chains, and no incantations stop them from rusting away, from rotting away. The machine has been maintained, but its source? What dare go in that room to end up reforging its bonds? What dare go in that room near that open, toothy maw without being bitten or incinerated? Or worse.
Vanya is very quietly translating this all for the party.
Okay.
It's just a matter of time before that thing gets out. We gotta deal with it.
Just so we're clear, so we're all on the same page here. As soon as that anti-magic field goes down, what happens to all of the Fae that are out in the forest? They get released, potentially, right? So we're all very clear what happens to this island next.
Yeah, we are.
This is a time bomb that's waiting to go off.
Yeah.
And I think we should trigger it with the best possible outcome.
Which means
There's nobody left here that they can fight. Whoever the Fae were fighting are gone.
that's not going to stop them from going after Spike and Brune. And Shell.
They're not going to be going towards the coast. They're going to be coming here.
Yeah, potentially.
They we might be able to deal with, talk to. But that thing, if it gets loose, what is it going to do?
It's been here, rotting in its own solitary confinement for eons, and so have they. If they're even consciously aware, which we've deducted potentially are. This goes up, the whole island goes up.
Well,
Just
if we
so
don't,
we're clear.
if we don't do this, then magic's never going to work outside of there, and we're never leaving. Do you want to try to maintain this place next to Braum and Shiel and the little one? You know, it'll be a lot livelier with all of us here.
I'm just saying, this is our circumstance. Just so we're all on the same page, just so that we're all aware of what exactly we're doing.
I understand.
Okay.
then I cast my vote. But I need to hear from you guys, because it's not my choice alone.
As much as the thought annoys me, coming from where I am, well, where I came from, I think we landed here for this reason. Seven people in front of these doors.
And well, there's the four of us.
Look like us.
And
Yeah,
a dog.
5 counting Zephyr.
Yeah. Dog, dragon, hybrid mix thing. So, what I propose is I sneak up behind it. In fact, we all sneak up around it and catch it off guard before it has a chance to even realize we're there.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. Me and you gotta be on the opposite side of them. If we're harrying it and it has to look at us, then it's not looking at them. They can use magic.
Your sword
So,
probably wouldn't be very effective if that mask came off.
no, it still cuts really good. It just won't be set on fire.
Fair. I thankfully don't have anything like that to rely on. But if I get the jump on it, then I can definitely do a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm okay, but I'm not very stealthy. Do you want to sneak in and get the first hit, and then I'll rush in at its...
Kirby, you forget what I have done for this group already. We're already pretty quiet. Yeah, remember?
Okay. I
My
just
little
didn't want to be
infamous
the one.
spell I used?
No, I just didn't want to screw it up for you guys. I know I'm not as clumsy and I can move a lot better now that I'm younger, but old habits
I
die
think
hard.
if we're going to pull the trigger, we all need to move in at once.
Pull that trigger at once. That's exactly my thoughts.
Pull it at once, deal a massive blow as quickly as possible. We might have a better chance. Especially if you two can keep its gaze on you. Should that mask come off.
Just do me a favor. Be careful. I don't want to be picking thorns out of my ass for the next 2 weeks.
I promise I will try.
Then I think we have a plan. Let's sneak attack it.
Yep.
That would like you all to form up at the door. We will allow movement to one-to-one basis and see who can get into position without jostling this thing. Now, I imagine Vanya is particularly concerned when it comes to Zephyr, because Zephyr is a creature of magic. So what happens to Zephyr if Zephyr gets caught in the
Yep.
anti-magic cone?
And you just put him away. I would not rather risk him.
It's not as simple, but I do have an idea. Let me check something here. Because he can use his stuff at a distance. Okay. If we can keep him out of there, but within 30 feet of whomever is going to be attacking. So this line directly in front of it. He can use his reaction, otherwise he can just sit out here and not take part in this. Because again, we don't know what's going to happen in that case. So
Okay.
that is the plan.
All right. And I will leave it to you.
Okay. So the captain is intending to sneak up and arrive about this square next to the creature.
All right. Now, to be clear, that large circle is actually a very deep pit filled with machinery, gears, a whole bunch of stuff that is probably best not to fall into.
Yeah. And she will do what she can to jump over it.
Okay. You have an athletics check that's above 15, right? By default?
For a passive athletics,
What would your passive athletics be?
10 plus 1 would be 11, but I have acrobatics, which would be a 19.
Okay, we can use acrobatics. But you will be still making a stealth check.
Okay. I will make another stealth check. Let's see if we can do better than 40, boys. Well,
as a note, I think I have a thingy, a spell.
You have a thingy? Okay.
Protection from evil and good. Concentration up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, aberrations included. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any saving throws against the relevant effects. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Who's getting your protection?
I think I'm going to use Twin Spell and give it to both of our melee characters.
Oh, goody.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So the captain gets protection before she moves.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my stealth check would be a 31.
Okay.
On an 8 on the dice, y'all.
Move your movement.
All right.
Move your movement. I am treating this as though this is a... I am treating this as a surprise round before we roll initiative.
Okay. I have a 20...
This is...
I have a 25 movement, so I can move there.
All right, that gets you into position, and I believe that counts as a dash for mechanical purposes, correct?
No, that counts as my single move.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yep, you are absolutely correct. Okay, that's positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna move next? Who dares into the realm? Okay, Kurobe. Let's roll that. Now I had you roll a stealth check to do this because obviously you don't want to wake this up. So
Nope.
Kurobe's gonna need. Oh, I didn't. Okay.
No, you
so
did.
let's roll and see.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah, my 31 is my stealth check.
Kurobe, I'm gonna need a stealth check. I'm pretty sure you're athletic enough to make the jump passively.
I just have to to get a 15. I just have to not roll a 1.
Yeah. So we'll. But I'm looking for a stealth check right now.
All right.
And don't forget the plus 10.
That will be a 22.
Okay. Move your position. Now, Kurobe and Captain, I'm going to have you end up performing your actions because unfortunately a 22 doesn't quite make its passive.
As in a 22.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I told you.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but you do have a chance to catch it off guard. So this is the opening of the combat before we do initiative.
So I would have advantage because I would be safe.
You certainly would.
Yeah.
You certainly would.
Okay, well that's a 6.
You tried, Kurobe.
And that's a
I tried.
19 plus 9.
Do I get a single attack or an attack action?
Hold up.
Sorry.
It's a regular action. I was just giving everybody a chance because it sounded like everybody
Okay.
wanted to surround and then attack it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Rattlecan tank ended up getting their attention.
Somehow I'm noisier naked than I ever was in armor.
So for my attack, I have a 28 to hit,
That will certainly hit.
and then I will have sneak attack because I had advantage.
Okay.
Which is so that's 26 points of slashing damage.
26 points of slashing damage. Damn.
Yep.
That's a good start.
All
So
right.
your blade ends up diving deep into this thing as soon as you see it starting to rattle awake. It starts to end up pulling its chains, instinctively looking about, and you can see many of the eye stalks that were fluttering about suddenly snap like serpents, looking about. Seeing the open door, seeing that it's being approached, and starts to thrash.
Bonus action. Do I want to do something for bonus action? My bonus
An idea
action.
for bonus action?
My bonus action would allow me to dodge or a dash, disengage, or hide. However, if you allow it, I'd like to take the hide bonus action.
I will allow it.
Okay, so I roll another stealth check. Ooh, that's a nice number. 17 plus 13 is a modifier is 30 plus 10 is 40. Again.
You duck under this thing immediately, and you kind of tuck and roll a bit underneath it, using its own body to hide away from the eye stalks. As the eye stalks want to go overhead as its natural want, and it's temporary confusion. Kurobe, you said you were going to make an attack. You do have a full attack action, much like a regular combat turn. You've made your movement, and that is it.
Copy. I will go into a rage, gritting my teeth and starting to get angry. And I will start making my series of attacks. First
Okay.
attack. Sorry. That will be a 20 to hit.
That will hit.
Alright, I need you, and I need you.
Barely, but you do manage to get past its natural armor.
Alright, does fire damage matter for resistances?
Let me double check that. I don't believe so. No. No, it has
Okay.
no immunities on that.
Okay, so that is... So that's 27 for the first hit.
Okay.
Natural 20. Alright, I have more dice, so we're rolling double dice. Ooh.
Oof.
God, I'm glad I can reroll ones. Alright, so that is 9, 18, 22, 26.
He can math.
So that is 40 damage for my next hit.
Wow.
Right?
Well, I shouldn't be surprised.
This is Kurobe.
This is Kurobe.
And then 27 for the next hit.
27, that will hit. That's 7, 10, 14 plus.
That's 23 for the last hit.
23. Okay. You end up striking deep. You end up slashing into this thing. You end up cutting in, and perhaps in your fervor, you end up slashing into chain and leather straps, things that kept it bound. You end up hacking into, trying to end up ending this thing as quickly as possible. In a rage, you end up unleashing that brutal fury you're capable of bringing within yourself. Hacking him into pieces, you end up seeing. Well, now you don't see the dwarf. The dear captain who has ended up putting wound after wound in rapid succession in all the places that really hurt. Vanya and Arya, you get a quick round before we end up going into proper initiative. Can you guys put this thing down? Because I don't think you want to end up knowing what happens if it actually gets a full turn of combat.
Yeah,
Go
Vanya's
ahead.
definitely firing arrows at it.
Okay.
The first one will have a... You know what? Let's do this at 5th level. Hit Hail of Thorns.
Okay.
Fuck you, buddy.
Well, welcome to my world, Coffee. We're going to be picking thorns out of our ass for the next week.
Hey, look, I get advantage on dexterity saving throws.
So do I, but it doesn't matter.
So those two and it are going to need to make a dex save for
Dex
this.
save? Okay.
My dice love me. My dice love me. That's a nat 20.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a
This won't hurt.
25, which means I take no damage for a save.
That is only a 12. Also, Coffee, I want you to remind you, where are you right now?
Oh, I'm directly
You are
underneath it.
You're in a Temple
Yeah.
of Tyr.
I
You get an advantage.
already rolled an advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Double
Oh
checking.
yeah, we both already get advantage.
Yep.
Yep.
I rolled advantage because I
Dex.
have uncanny dodge.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
I also
you're-
got a
you're-
12.
So you're not taking damage.
No,
Kurobe is.
because on a save,
Unfortunately,
I ignore
But guess
damage.
what? I am a. Oh no, wait, I'm not that yet. Never mind. Is it? But this is magical, so it goes through. I was like, I don't have my bear yet.
Actually, it's evasion, but yes.
So the Beholder is an aberration, right?
That is correct.
I have it as a greater favored enemy.
Ooh.
Would that +4 also apply to the Hail of Thorns damage?
Does Hail of Thorns constitute as an attack as opposed to save? So I was under the impression it was kind of a save or half damage.
Yeah, it's save or half damage.
Yeah,
It's...
So
Yeah.
would it constitute as an attack in that regard? It's more of an area of effect.
Okay.
If it was something like something that would be dodgeable, if something that you're actually throwing as an attack action, I would definitely end up saying
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so it'll just apply to the initial arrow then.
Yep. So
Okay.
what's the full damage on that?
Okay, let's do the arrow first as soon as I can find the damn thing. So let's see here. 7, 14... 17... plus the extra 4. 21 for the arrow, and that is after the crit.
21 for the arrow. Damn.
Yeah, and then... this is why... Okay.
half dead in one go. Well
This is
done.
why I upcast this, because Hail of Thorns at 5th level is 5d10.
God damn.
So you roll 10d10.
Yeah. So that... Oh my god!
What'd you get?
So that second roll, I'm screenshotting this, because I did the damage dice on, D&D Beyond for simplicity's sake. The second roll, all but one turned up 1. That was
Alright.
a Derek dice and a half. Total damage from Hail of Thorns is 32.
Which I successfully evade because of evasion.
Mm. Sorry, Kurobe.
You're just gonna hear, son of a bitch!
Alright, so the damage on the second roll was a
8.
okay.
And then it is going to get a second arrow.
Okay.
Also, don't forget,
Which is-
Kurobe, you're raging, so you only take half damage.
Oh yeah, it is from all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. It's not just magical.
Right.
It's just Bear gives you everything.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
32, so that's 16?
Reduce to 16.
And with this, Zephyr is going to infuse the arrow. So it's going to be an extra d6 of cold damage to it.
Let's roll it.
Da, 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 da. Let me get to my modifier thingy here, because 23 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, so it is taking 4 points of piercing with 5 points of cold.
Oh, damn.
I believe that. Yep. Okay, it's just the d6, no extra mods.
Okay. So with that in mind, this thing is reeling, and it goes to Arya, who gets a chance to go.
Big bada boom.
There's a big.
I've been thinking
big
about it.
fight.
I've been going me over here measuring and shit. Okay, so there's one location I can go ahead and do this safely-ish. I think it was... No, not right there. What is 20 feet? Right there.
So you would just be clipping the captain.
Captain, you think you can make a deck save?
I got evasion. I got dex save for days.
Let's see what you can do.
Do it.
Which I also get advantage of because of the Tears Blessing. Ooh, that's a 17 on the dice.
I forgot the extra 4 on that last arrow, but that's fine.
So 17 plus 9 is 26 to evade.
26 will do it. I need that beholder to make me a deck save.
Which means I take
13.
0 fire damage.
13. Holy shit, that does not do it. Okay, so I'm casting this at 5th level.
You're fighting Derek Dice, I hear. Remember?
So I need to be doing... Oh god, how many dice is that? That's 10d6. I only have 1d6.
Use a dice roller. See if you can find one. Make it
I'm gonna
simple.
do
Yeah.
To make it simple on yourself.
You can do it in
that's
roll
why.
20.
That's why I did it on D&D Beyond. It's like, it's so much simpler just to hit the button.
Or
Yeah,
slash
on
roll.
on
Alright.
the left. Yeah.
Okay, we got... Oh, I can just do it on roll 20, can't I?
Yeah, slash
Yeah.
roll 10d6.
Please, God. Give me something good.
Ooh,
That's pretty
Ooh.
good.
that's nice.
We take
Ooh.
that's a lot of 6s.
Oh,
That's a
God.
lot of damage.
Yep,
Okay.
there's 4 6s.
That's a lot of damage.
Hell yeah.
So each creature in a 20-foot radius centered on that has to make the dex saving throw. That's 10. That's 41 fire damage.
Reduced to 0 for
and-
me because evasion.
And the fire spreads around corners. It ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried. I just set a nuke down.
Max, how do you want to do this?
Oh my god! Arya takes.
Let me put this into context.
Oh my
This
god.
thing had 20% more health than a regular beholder, and all of its DCs were 20. Ooh.
Now you understand my problem, Derek.
No. This is literally, you guys came at this smart. You set up. You ended up going through. Because I can guarantee you, if Karobe busted the door, even if you all had advantages on his savings throw, somebody's going in the pit. Somebody's getting disintegrated. Somebody's being put to sleep and getting eaten later. I can damn near guarantee it. This was basically a dominate or be dominated encounter.
Valid.
No middle ground.
And dominate we did.
So you guys did this smart. You deserve this. Arya, take it away.
I take one step into the room and flames start glowing all around me, embers swirling around me, and I set my hand out forth. The ball of fire, as bright as the sun, spins in my palm, turns into a disc, and just torpedoes in this high-pitched screech across the room, zooming and whipping around like a curveball over the beholder's many stalks of eyes, and just igniting the entire room. And I have a cat.
Baby.
The burst of fire ends up causing it to rattle off of its chains. It's the mask over its eye blows away as it's able to just take a glimpse. Fire's a familiar thing. Brightness. Or it can end up uttering a word, though. Heat. Overwhelming heat. And sudden force. Kicks aside blobs of flesh and remains of bone. Purple bubbling blood cascades over the floor, staining and destroying the ritual circle beneath it. It crumples to the ground, as you can end up seeing it start to slide and fall and deflate. You look at this, its eyes trying to move. Death twitch before falling silent. And you hear it. Silence. Machine stops. Only a whisper can be heard. Whisper of something above. If there's no actions you wish to take, let us close out this session.
All Amber would do left is just stomp the thing's burning ashes as she's kind of patting out a little bit of her hair that's singed a little bit.
Oh, your beard is coming into a perm at this point.
Yeah. She just
Never felt so full and singed.
stomps the thing's eye out, just to be sure, with her boot. Well,
Vanya's just scooping Arya up into her arms, twirling her around.
Roby's going to reach down and rip out a tooth if he can. A couple teeth if he can.
Absolutely. If you wish to take trophies, then by all means, as you describe them.
It
But Arya,
Hmm?
you probably feel it most. Feel of excitement. That sensation around your heart, that need for home. Suddenly, gone. And and makes your heart feel light as a feather.
I dreamed of freedom. I showed it the sun.
Which, yeah,
As
I
you
think is a
exit,
good place for us to call the session, right?
well, let's close out one last bit.
Mhm.
You all exit the Temple of Tyr. From the mountain side, you can see it. Wisps of energy. Things that have been trapped here. Escaping off into the air. Or retreating back deeper into the woods. The figures you've seen beforehand are all but gone. And you make your way down. You make your way down to the settlement. And in that moment, as you start to do, there's no settlement. There's no people. Instead, you are left to wonder. And then you hear it. A whirring, a noise overhead. And as you look up, see your ship. Your first mate calls out to you, Captain! Captain! As a rope on a ladder is tossed down.
We're here.
You climb. And gather on. Captain. Captain! Are you alright?
Well, fine. What happened? What happened to... We crashed.
I don't know. You see, we saw a the lads were looking after it, and then the next thing we knew, we woke inside the hull. Some of us were at station when we looked about. Who was just as confused as you were. And Captain, we seem to have a pair of stowaways now. He
Stowaways.
gestures. And you can see there, sitting at the rear of the ship, looking over the island, a large man in a big apron. And the tiniest of women currently trying to end up playing a lute. Twang! Twang! Maybe in your confusion, somewhere in the distance, out of view, bright as the sun, single feather flutters down from the sky. Pure as snow. And that is where our session, little side adventure, will come to an end.
Thank you, Derek, for being
Yes.
our guest DM for the last few weeks.
No worries.
Definitely pick
Fucking
up.
That was
awesome.
enjoyable.
Mm.
A little bit of mystery to add, a little
Mm.
bit to discuss, but I think a few prompts that Coffee can use if he wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Two characters I think Coffee can more than easily use to help out the ship and explain a few little details without having to go through logistics.
Love it. Love to see it.
Woohoo.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being a great DM for this little side adventure. And where we pick up next time is going to be still heading towards the continent of Ionia to meet with General Roderus and the Drow. And so we'll pick up there next time. Thanks, you guys, so much for playing. And Derek,
You.
I'll leave it to you to issue experience because through the side adventure we haven't done any yet. So
No, we haven't.
no.
Mm-mm.
So
Let us make it. Let me take a quick look here, because I want to
make
be
it easy
fair
on
about
yourself and
this.
do just like a flat rate for everyone.
That's what I'm
Mm.
thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Because I, not really the point. Let's see here. Let's make it. Since you guys got to put up with me for a bit, how about we make it? And it's been a few sessions back to back to back. How about we just make it a flat 20?
Flat 20. Okay. And
That
that's
How does
works.
that feel?
as for each member of the cast, including Lugan and Kaz, so that they can actually have their shares in it too. Because they did
Yep.
participate last week, but they
They did.
So everyone's going to get a flat 20 for the little side adventure, which
We do experience a little bit different,
course.
people. So don't freak out. This is not a
Mhm.
case of me issuing like 3,000 experience.
No, yeah.
It's not how we're doing our.
I am
level.
now level 18.
But yeah, the way that we do experience is that we do it a little differently than D&D 5th edition normally does, in that it is 10 times your new level to upgrade to the next level. So if you're level 12 and going to 13, it would be 130 total experience to level up. So that's how we do things around here. And of course, since this was a side adventure that everyone was participating in, yeah, the flat 20 makes sense. So, is there anyone who is leveling up as a result of tonight's experience?
As much as it would amuse you if I said I did, I'm only halfway there.
Ah,
So close.
so close.
10 away, like less than 10 away.
Less than 10. Well, next time, Aria. Next time. Well, with that
I will
being
not
said,
make an edging joke. I will not make an edging joke. I will not make.
well, with that being said, thank you all in the audience for watching. You guys have been fantastic. It is time for us to say goodnight, everybody, and raid to somebody else who might be doing some D&D stuff tonight. So we'll find somebody to raid. Also, don't forget that we are also on YouTube and post all of the VODs on there. They're a week behind, so if you didn't catch up this week, well, you had plenty of time because we didn't play last week, haha. But this week's episode will go up next Saturday on the YouTube channel. But with that being said, thank you again, Derek, for being our lovely guest DM. We'll be back to our regular cast as myself as the DM next time. So, say goodnight, everybody.
Good
night.
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 Good night.